was a dry eye in the crowd. These folks have been working on this house for I believe over a year, and there were a lot of folks there who swung a hammer and picked up garbage, and it was really beautiful to see. There's quite a crowd there up on 20th Street. And then there was a larger crowd, as mentioned in the paper this morning, on a tsunami presentation. And there was the quasi-comforting statement that we would have quite a bit of time really to be warned by a tsunami that occurs on the Cascadia, from the Cascadia subduction zone. If there was a tsunami caused by other events, such as an earthquake on the South Whidbey Island, that there would be much less time. Or there's the other type of tsunami they mentioned that could be caused by a bluff collapsing into a water body. And the one that they pointed out was if a piece of Protection Island, curiously named, if that would fall into the water, that there could be as much as 100-foot tsunami going into Discovery Bay.
So it's well localized.
Yeah, and they mentioned there'd be a loss of Highway 101, and perhaps even more importantly, Fat Smitty's. And there was an incredible study presented to the group that had been done by a high school student by looking at soil samples. And there was the difficulty in making these predictions, of course, is on the Cascadia earthquake fault. There are enough occurrences, so they have kind of a pattern. So there's some ability to predict. With the particularly South Whidbey Island, there aren't enough occurrences to be able to come up with any sort of prediction. I think the last one was about 3,000 years ago. But it was amazing how many people were there. The USO club on Fort Worden was completely packed, standing in line.
Big crowd. I'm trying to visualize a landslide on Protected Island that could do that. Just
Like cabbing off of a big portion of the bluff or something.
it
Yeah.
would have to be a high bluff.
Yeah.
Just, yeah. Interesting.
Well, there was some evidence of that near my house with the one that happened 300 years ago. What was the average? 242 or something like that.
So what evidence is there?
A portion of the bluff that you can see it go along. You can see a portion that capped off during that. Then you see the trees that are thrown back. It's pretty obvious that those are the biggest ones were around that 300-year. It grown since then.
There's a huge piece that went off by Bell Street in Seaview, where the road used to go right up to the edge of the bluff, and now it's been blocked
Yeah.
off by Jersey barriers.
And over by Ocean Shores, between Ocean Shores and Beckett Point,
Right.
there's a real interesting spot where it's kind of, where you can see where it kind of separated and moved out. So there's a spot. It's there, and you can look at the trees, and it's the same thing. You could say, oh, about 300 years, that's what these trees are here. So, yeah, it's a different way of looking at things when you start thinking about the geology that brought something forward.
Not right.
And a very unusual place here. This whole Puget Sound area where the glaciers were and where you have all this activity is quite different underneath us than is apparent looking, I think, at first look above ground. It looks pretty regular like other parts of the country, other places you've been maybe. But then when you start looking at the hydrogeology, it's really quite different than other places. So I just run into that all the time with water issues. Difficult it is to, for example, map things that aren't so good. We had that USGS study that's continuing. You just really see how difficult it is to predict different things in the aquifers and what's going on underneath. It's much more complicated than most people realize.
Okay. Any other reports?
I would just say about that USGS study, the East Jefferson Watershed Council is working with the USGS to get them out here probably later in next month, maybe May, to have a community presentation about that model. So something interesting to look forward to.
I think for a couple of months you need to say formerly known as
Formerly known as Fire 17.
Yeah. AKA alias.
I don't know, like,
You going to Olympia this week?
I don't know yet. I'm going to Sheldon, which is almost as good as going to Olympia. I'm going to a workshop that I signed up for a month ago that I couldn't even tell you when it is right now. But
Oh, is that,
it's San Giving.
yeah, the Cascade Agenda?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're having that in town on Thursday. It's like a similar, you're at the
Well,
Maritime Center or something like that.
if it's the same.
One here.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. I'm not going to Sheldon.
No.
I was going to call Sam this morning.
I noticed that the bill that increases the likelihood for kids getting vaccines passed, I saw that in the paper this morning. Board of Health has been pushing that. And there wasn't a lot of resistance. I was very pleased to see that.
Yeah. It's good.
Things actually make it through. Anything else?
I went to the groundbreaking. I think David did too, for the 4
Oh, yeah.
new houses coming up, affordable houses. It's perfect timing considering what we have on the agenda this morning.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I believe if that's it, we can either go right into our regular agenda unless you wanted to take a break. What's your pleasure?
I'm fine.